Alright, so I'm doing a video here on the Mobula8, and this is the HDZERO version. So I've actually had this for a while, kind of spread the videos out over some time. I have the HDZERO version now, of course, and I have reviewed the walk snail version already, of course, and then the one for the DJI-03 system. Of course, that one I'm not going to compare in this video because that one's really different and a lot heavier. These two are very, very similar in terms of the flight performance, the components. They're all pretty much the same. The only difference is the video transmitter and camera, of course. I believe even the canopies are, no, the canopies are a little bit different. They have one for the HDZERO, and the walk snail looks a little bit, yeah, it's a little bit different for the walk snail. So they have slightly different canopies, but the frame, the props, the motors, the flight controller, the base of these two are almost identical, and I believe the weight difference is only about 2 grams. So the walk snail is about 2 grams heavier. So let me just go ahead and show you that. Alright, so this is the HDZERO version coming in at 46.6 grams. And here is the walk snail version. It is coming in at 48.0 grams, so not even 2 grams, it's 1.4 grams difference. And I flew it on the same 2S450 battery that goes into this tray. Very hard to squeeze it in, but it will go in. Yeah, same flight controller with the USB port, the USB-C port here, or I'm sorry, micro USB port here on the bottom. Of course, very hard to get the battery in there. That's the same as well. The same 3-bladed jump fan prop, same. Well, I think these are 1103. Yeah, the same 1103, 11,000 kV motors, same frame. Again, just the difference in the video transmitter. And just to give you a look at what that is, so you have your VTX antenna here, you got your coaxial cable to the camera. This right here is the Express LRS antenna being fished through over here on the side. And they did something similar over here as well on the walk snail version. Yeah, so basically, in terms of flying it, the difference is the camera. The walk snail camera seems to have a wider field of view than the HDZERO camera, but of course, you know, there's very few people that fly both walk snail and HDZERO and are going to get both models. People are going to typically just either stick with HDZERO or walk snail. I don't really have a lot of other HDZERO stuff to compare to in terms of the camera. I don't even remember the name of this camera, but I felt like the field of view of this camera could have been better. I'm kind of used to more wider angled field of view cameras, so in terms of flying it, because of the narrower field of view, I did feel like it was a little bit tougher for me. But, you know, again, for some people that are used to HDZERO and their cameras and their field of views, that's probably not going to matter too much. So it really kind of boils down to how it performs on the PID tune and everything. It's the same, basically the same PID tune as the walk snail version. Flies almost exactly the same in terms of the power, of course, same battery, same flight time, pretty much. So I can't really say anything too remarkable in terms of the differences of how it performs compared to the walk snail. Almost the same. The walk snail, maybe, you know, those 1.3 grams might make a difference, but are you going to be able to tell actually in real terms of flying around perhaps after 1,000 batteries, and maybe you'll notice what the actual differences are? But of course, who's going to put 1,000 batteries on both of these? Certainly not me. Anyway, you're seeing the flight footage here of the HDZERO version. I'll put the link to the walk snail review down in the video description. You can compare how this flies to the walk snail version. You'll see that I flew at the same spot, and you get an idea, you know, what the differences are. I believe on this day it was a bit windier, if I remember, if my recollection is correct, for the HDZERO, so it was a little bit tougher to fly in the wind compared to when I was flying the walk snail version, so that might show up in the video and the flight performance, but otherwise, I don't really have a whole lot to say about this. You know, obviously this is the, I think the 1S version of the video transmitter for HDZERO, so 250 milliwatts, I believe, or 200 milliwatts is the max VTX power, so your range is kind of limited compared to the bigger video transmitters. But of course, where are you going to go with this little tiny 2-inch micro whoop with a 2S450 that's not going to be flying You know, you're not going to be doing any kind of a long-range FPV with this one, or flying down, you know, Mount Everest or anything like that. So I'm not sure why you would need 10 million kilometers of range. So this is going to be plenty for your park flying, and you know, in terms of that, I don't think there's going to be issues in terms of your range on this particular setup for this particular drone and where you're going to fly and how far you're going to fly it. Alright, that's going to cover for this video. Links down in the video description to everything that I mentioned in the other videos, to this particular model. Check it out. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. We'd appreciate that. And consider subscribing to the channel if you want more content like this. That'll do it for this one. Talk to you guys in the next video.